So, Elon Musk's DOGE preparing the Trump administration for a round of widespread federal layoffs, even more widespread than what we've heard about so far. First, you have the Washington Post reporting that the office that enforces equal labor laws could be slashed by 90%. Meanwhile, we're also waiting on a federal judge who's set to rule on whether to halt the firings of probationary federal workers. A hearing on that today. These probationary workers who've been let go as part of the DOGE cut. So let's bring our legal panel in to talk about what's legal in all of this. Brian Claypool joins us. So let's talk about that a little bit, Brian. Then these people are hired on a probationary basis, right? And that's what we're waiting on this judge to settle for us. I think I have a quote here from the special counsel requesting a stay, and the quote is, firing probationary employees without individualized cause appears contrary to a reasonable reading of the law, particularly the provisions establishing rules for reduction in force. So how would you square that to what Jacqueline just told us, Brian? What do you think happens?
Yeah, hey, Connell, great to be back with you. Look, at the end of the day, most everybody in this country is an at-will employee. What do I mean by that? We don't have a signed contract that says you can only be fired for a cause. Most of us work, and we can be fired for just about anything because we don't have a contract that has that clause in it. We're at-will employees. So look, at the end of the day, you're now distinguishing probationary employees from regular employees. I think the way this parses out is the way that most of the courts are headed right now, which is that DOGE is going to be able to terminate most of these employees based on the grounds that they are trying to reduce bureaucracy, increase efficiency, and try to save the taxpayer some money.
What if you're one of these USAID employees, like Brian? They came in and they said, well, you got 15 minutes to clean out your desk, and then the first person or first group they really went after was foreign aid. Couldn't you have made that argument if this is political? Like to Jacqueline saying you have to argue it's political. Couldn't they have done that effectively? And isn't that a relatively strong argument, or no?
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, Connell, I think this really harkens back to what are the general employment laws. I know that civil rule you just put up there.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's going to override what the general employment laws are in our country, which is what I said. And I think, look, at the end of the day, up until Trump gets elected, we haven't had to deal with this issue, that federal employees were just intrinsically treated differently, and they had to go through a different process to get fired. I've dealt with this out in LA with teachers unions, not having teachers fired even when there were sexual assault allegations on kids. But that wasn't because of the law. That's because the people firing them didn't want to fight with the unions, if that makes sense.
The politicians didn't want to fight with the unions.
So look, at the end of the day, I think the chaos right now, Connell, is you've got a lot of different courts dealing with a lot of different issues, and there's no continuity in any of the court rulings. That means that that these U.S. Supreme Court justices better not be planning any trips.
Yeah, well, that might be, but we've been talking about that a lot. Some of this stuff may get driven up there. We'll see. Let me wrap for now, Brian.